Hello, and welcome to Gateway to a Personal Practice. My name is Matt Weld. I am the SEL coach for Area 5 of Illinois. That's about 13 counties down here outside of St. Louis. I'm really happy to be here today to share with you a practice that I like to do with the teachers in my area. We lead them through a modeling session, a way for them to understand maybe 5 different areas where they can enter into a personal practice to enhance their adult SEL competencies. So today we're going to be working on modeling those for you. We're going to start with an intention. We'll do some breath work. We will go through a mindfulness activity. We'll talk about the theme of the day. We'll do some desk yoga. And finally, we'll end with a guided practice. So here we go. Let's get started. All right. So as we settle into our practice today, let's just arrive in our space. So feet flat on the floor, left, right. Breathe your shoulders up to your ears. Let them fall back and behind, putting your shoulder blades back where they belong. Let's try that one more time. Inhale your shoulders up. Breathing in through your nose, out through your nose, letting your shoulders and shoulder blades fall back into place. All right. So let's start this session with the idea that forgiveness is a skill that needs to be taught. I mean, whenever you have these difficult conversations, there is going to be 2 parts, right? There's person A and there's person B. We're going to be talking about not the apology part, but the forgiveness part, because I think that in my personal experience, we seem to understand apologies better, but not necessarily what forgiveness is or our responsibility, or not so much responsibility, but the boundaries that we have to set up when we understand forgiveness. All right. So when we're working with the idea of forgiveness today, let's think about maybe leaning in. And when practitioners say the word leaning in, like what does that mean? It really means to open yourself to be curious, to maybe let the doors that normally slam shut and be like, oh no, that's not me. Maybe let them swing a little more slowly closed, right? So that some light can shine in and maybe you have a chance to lean out and see more of a view. All right. So as we're leaning into this idea of forgiveness today, let's just remember that it's okay to feel uncomfortable, that outside, like, growth happens outside your comfort zone, right? So as we're leaning into this whole idea of forgiveness, let's just remember that um, so as we're leaning into this whole idea of forgiveness today, let's just remember that it can be uncomfortable, but sometimes we need to embrace our own discomfort in order for growth to really happen. All right. So I invite you, as our intention today, to just think about this idea of forgiveness and how really the idea is to set ourselves free, right? The only person really being held prisoner by a lack of forgiveness is ourselves. Uh, it was Lewis Smedes that said to forgive is to set a prisoner free and to discover that that prisoner was you. Right. So this is really, forgiveness is about personal growth and what you do for yourself rather than what you're doing as maybe a favor for someone else or maybe as a payment for an apology. Right. All right. So if you have another intention that you'd like to put forth to today or one you're working on already, feel free to do that too. All right. All right. So intentions are a great way to start a personal practice when it comes to developing your own SEL competencies, because an intention is like setting your filter that's in your brain. It's actually called your attentional filter. You set this idea in the back of your brain, and then you happen to notice it more often. Like it becomes a guiding principle. Think of it as like when you started driving, you bought a new kind of car, and then all of a sudden you notice that, oh, everyone's driving this kind of car, and you hadn't noticed it before, right? So setting an intention at the beginning of the day or the month or the week or the year or whatever, just kind of focuses that little voice in the back of your mind to pay attention to this. All right. So that's what an intention is. And maybe that's what your personal practice is. It's a great place to start. Right. Another thing you can do is breath work. So let's work on some ujjayi breathing. As yoga teachers, that's what we call it when you constrict the back of your throat. And what this does is it enables you to slow your inhales and slow your exhales. Okay, so just try this. Breathe into the nose and then exhale as if you're fogging a mirror. Or sometimes with little kids, we'll say, okay, breathe in through your nose and then make the letter H sound. And then feel that constriction in the back of your throat. Let's do it one more time. Inhale. And then exhale, making the sound. Okay, now breathe in through your nose. And this time, as you exhale, keep that constriction, but close your lips. Hear it in the back of it. It's like tucked in the middle of your brain somewhere. Okay, now keeping that constriction, try it for the inhale as well. Okay, so you're breathing in. Nice and slow. Notice how it requires you to breathe slowly in and slowly out. We have a tendency to gulp air, and we have a tendency to breathe too much. And so what this ujjayi breathing does is it enables us to slow it down. Slow it down. All right. Now let's try this with a traditional box breath. A box breath is when you imagine a square, and you can work with all kinds of shapes, rectangles, parallelograms, trapezoids, anything when it comes to this. But we're going to go with a box. So all sides are equal. All right. So when we inhale, it's going to be up to a count of 4, and I'll count it off. All right. So we're going to inhale to a count of 4, and then we're going to hold the breath with our lungs full for a count of 4. Then we're going to exhale, going down that one side of the square. Once again, a count of 4, because in a triangle or in a square, everything's equal. And then with our lungs empty, we're going to hold the breath again, and then we'll continue the cycle. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Okay, and we'll do that 3 times. Right? So once again, feet flat on the floor, left, right. Get in your position. I recommend that your spine be a little longer so that your diaphragm has room to move. Your ribs have space on either side to be able to contract, because they're all part of the game too when it comes to breathing. Just find your breath. Okay, everybody take a breath in and then let it out. And then as we do this box breathing, remember that you're inhaling the entire time of the 4 counts that we're going up the side, and we're exhaling the entire time we're going down the other side. Okay, and that's when that constriction in the back of your throat can be really handy to control your rate of airflow. Right? So imagine the box. Breathe in, let all your air out, and here we go. Up one side, inhale, and hold when you're full. 2, 3, 4, and exhale. 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to slow it down. Are you ready? Here we go. We're going to inhale. 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. exhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, nice and slow. Keep it going and hold with your lungs full. 3, 4. Let it out, nice and easy and slow. One more hold. There we go. All right. You can do this with any shape, depending on what you want your ratios in your count to be. Right. So we've been through intention setting. We've been through breath work. Now let's talk about forgiveness. Okay. And then we'll move into the mindfulness, the yoga, and the meditation. All right. So let's talk a little bit about forgiveness. Really, forgiveness is being okay with an end to something. And it's probably an end you didn't expect, an end you didn't see coming. Right. And so if there's a conflict between you and somebody else, because this is when apologies and forgiveness is required, when there's a conflict, when you're having those difficult conversations that invariably will come up in your life. So someone does something that's unexpected. You come up against a no, or you come up against an end of something. Like something has to die, really, in order for you to be in a point where it's necessary for you to reach into yourself and forgive. Remember that forgiveness is not for the other person. Okay. When the other person apologizes, I hope they don't say, "I'm sorry for not doing the dishes. Please forgive me." Okay. It's not on them to request an apology or to request forgiveness. It's on you to reach into yourself, to be okay with this end to something and be able to move forward. Right. So forgiveness is, like the guy said, it's setting a prisoner free and then realizing that that prisoner was you. All right. And there is such a thing as pre-forgiveness. That's kind of setting yourself up in a relationship that I'm going to give you space to make mistakes and it's going to be okay. Like we'll work through it together. Now, that doesn't mean you don't have boundaries. Like if someone does something absolutely terrible, maybe it's time to end your relationship. Okay. But understand what those boundaries are at the beginning and pre-forgive people. It's really easy to do this with kids. Like we understand when we have kids that they're going to make mistakes. And so when our kids make those mistakes, which they invariably do, it's really easy to say, it's okay. You learned, we're going to move forward. It's those adults in our relationships where as people get older, it gets harder and harder to allow that space before difficult conversations, before confrontation actually happens, to say, for you both to know that there is room for error. There's room for mistakes before judgment sets in, right? All right. There's also a thing called re-forgiveness, where after you reach down into yourself and you decide, okay, I'm good with where I'm now, not necessarily good, but I'm going to say, now I'm drawing the line in the sand. What happened before happened before. I'm not going to let it affect me anymore. Okay, I'm tired of that lion scratching at the cage, scaring me again, and always being in my awareness, always being at the back of my mind, like tugging at me, right? I'm going to move forward. But sometimes then that lion it like comes back and gets louder and louder. And you have to reach back and say, okay, remember what we said before? I'm not going to let you do this anymore. Okay. That's re-forgiveness. And sometimes you have to, throughout your life, re-forgive people, re-forgive situations. Okay. And that's totally normal. Once you forgive, you shouldn't be expected, or you shouldn't expect yourself to never feel all those hard feelings again, right? All right. So that's a little bit about forgiveness. Let's do now move into a mindfulness activity. And mindfulness is simply being aware of the present moment in the present moment, right? Being aware of what's actually happening right now without judgment, without the constraints of all those other little voices that are invariably in your head going, pay attention to me, look at me, I'm more important, right? Shutting out maybe those other senses that you have. A great way to develop mindfulness activities is to say, I'm going to use one of my five senses right now. And that's all I'm going to use. And so it can be helpful to block out maybe your vision by closing your eyes or closing your ears or something like that. Okay. What we're going to do today, I'd like you to find something in your space and pick it up. I can use this little post-it pad here. Okay. So just find some kind of object. Could be anything. Could be your watch. Could be a ring. Could be something. Okay. And I want you to hold it in your hand. And we're going to do three things with it. Okay. So the first thing is just explore it with the one hand. Okay. So let's just take 30 seconds and just explore it, noticing detail, noticing color, just notice maybe things you've never noticed about it before. Okay. Light reflecting on like all these little sheets or whatever you've got. All right. 30 seconds. Still exploring. We have about 5 seconds left. All right. So just think for a minute, process what you just did. Take those notices, put them in your brain. All right. Now what we're going to do, I want you to keep it in your hand. Okay. One hand. Hopefully it's small enough to take in one hand. Now I want you to close your eyes. Okay. If at all possible, close your eyes. And then for another 30 seconds, explore it again, just using this one hand. All right. 30 seconds and go. Eyes closed, simply exploring this one object, nice and slow. You have plenty of time. Come back in 3, 2, and 1. What was different, right? What more did you notice this time than you did maybe when you were using your eyes as well? All right, one more thing. Now switch it to your other hand. This is probably your non-dominant hand. All right, and I just want you to do the same thing. Eyes closed, but I want you to explore it with your non-dominant hand. Ready? Go for it. You'll be exploring about 5 seconds left. 3, 2, and 1. All right. This is when I wish this was a live session so we could have a conversation about what you noticed. What was it about reducing your senses to maybe one that wasn't a common sense, like feeling or doing things with your non-dominant hand, right? It's so crazy to be like, what was new? Are your fingers more sensitive on your non-dominant hand? Did you notice things less or more? Yeah, crazy. But these are the things that that you can do for a quick mindfulness activity. And if you're going to use mindfulness throughout your day as part of your practice, just remember that these are quick little things just to bring your focus back to the present moment. Because it's really the present moment is all we have, right? Even 5 seconds ago, that's the past. There's nothing you can do about it now. 5 seconds from now, who knows what may happen, right? We have a good idea. We can probably predict pretty accurately as we as humans do, but we don't know exactly. All right. So to recap, we have set an intention. We did some breath work. We talked about what forgiveness is. We did a mindfulness activity. So next up, we still have yoga, and then we have a guided meditation to do. So let's move into yoga. All right. So for this yoga activity, we are going to start seated. I always like to start my desk yoga seated, and then we'll move into standing positions. Okay, we're not going to be on the floor because a lot of times people are at school or at work or something, and floors can be kind of gross. All right. So let's start seated. I'm going to fix my lens here. Zoom out a little bit. So that when I do stand up, y'all can see me better. All right. So once again, start seated, feet flat on the floor. Okay. Left, right, stomp, stomp. It's a great thing to do with kids. Breathe your shoulders up to your ears and back down. Lengthen your spine so you have plenty of room to breathe. Okay. Inhale your arms up overhead. Bring your palms together. Breathe them back down. Good. One more time. Up and down. With the breath out, just moving your arms with your breath. Inhale nice and slow, maybe using that ujjayi breathing we talked about before. This time, bring your arms to cactus, kind of goalposts. Breathe in, take your elbows back, and then breathe forward. Bring your elbows together. Okay, breathe in. If you don't have very good luck at breathing your elbows together, maybe give yourself a nice bear hug. Let's do this one more time. Open up. This time, as you breathe in, collapse more fully. Bring your elbows, however they are, down toward your knees. Good. Breathe in one more time. Arms up to the top, fingers together. And this time, as you exhale, twist to one side. Opposite hand on opposite knee. Breathe in nice and long. Exhale, twist. Breathe in, lengthen. Exhale, twist. One more time, breathe in. And then look over your shoulder as far as you can. And come back to center. Wiggle it out. Next breath in, arms up overhead, and let's do the other side. Open up to the other side. Opposite hand to opposite knee. Lengthen your spine on the breath in. On your breath out, look over your back shoulder. Breathe in, lengthen. Exhale, look over your back shoulder. A little bit farther. Here we go. Continue the breath. In, lengthen. Out, twist. Good. All right, breathe in one more time. Grab left wrist with your right hand. Pull that left wrist up to the ceiling and then stick your left ribs out. Oh, there you go. And then lean over to the right. Keep pulling on that wrist. Really lengthen that left side body. Feel the stretch. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. All right. On your next breath in, come back to center. Switch out your grip. So this time you're taking your right wrist in your left hand. Pull it up to the ceiling Stick your right ribs out and lean over to the left. Good. Come back up to center and breathe it back down. Good. All right. Next thing I want you to do, I want you to take your hands. We're going to be working on heart openings for just this little bit of yoga. And so that means that we're going to be opening our heart space, because that's when we forgive people, we need to open up our heart space. We need to become more vulnerable, and that can be uncomfortable. And the cool thing about yoga is that yoga can help build your zone of resilience by putting your body in situations physically that mimic what happens in your physiology when you're feeling all those feels, right? Because our mind and body are so connected that when we use yoga to put ourselves into postures that maybe are uncomfortable, it actually helps us deal with those emotions that are associated with those postures later on. I hope that makes sense. All right. So anyway, what I want you to do is I want you to take your hands and clasp them behind your back. Okay. And if that's not accessible, put them on your hips, maybe the small of your back. Okay. So I'm going to put my camera down a bit for this. All right. So your hands are behind your back. Breathe in, open up your heart space, and then bring your clasped fist to one side or the other. And I call this the chicken wing move. I don't know what it really is called, because you end up with like this chicken wing. Tuck that chicken wing in. Tuck it in, tuck it in. It helps open up your heart space. You still have your fist here on the one side. Okay, breathe in and out. Really tuck, engage those arms. Just keep breathing. Nice and slow, in through the nose, out through the nose. One more time, in and out. Good. And then keeping your hands clasped, switch sides. Okay. So bring it as far over as you can. Maybe it's only to the middle of your back. That's totally cool. Whatever you can do. If your hands are on your back, shift maybe your one hand now to the middle of your back. Okay. Weird. Tuck in that chicken wing if you've got your fists together like this. Even if you don't, get your arms back. Open up that heart space. Okay, breathe in and out. Maybe look up a little bit this time. Press those shoulder blades together. Shoulders back. We're getting this heart space nice and open for some moves here later on. Okay, unclasp your hands. Give yourself a nice shoulder roll or two. Okay, and then let's stand up. All right, I'm actually going to put my chair completely out of the way. Because I'm not going to need it here. All right. All right, next section of yoga. All right, here we go. What I want you to do is I want you to face one side. Okay, face one side of your space. And my feet are now, like, my left foot is forward, my right foot is back. My left foot is facing straight forward, 12 o'clock. My right foot is facing about 2 o'clock. Okay, so you yoga people, this is setting up for warrior one, right? All right, so keeping your legs straight, nice and straight. I want you to breathe your arms up and then breathe them down. Okay, breathe them up one more time. And then as you breathe out, clasp your hands. We've been here before. Inhale nice and long. Stay there for a minute. Stay there for a minute. Good. And then fold over, bending that front knee. Humble warrior one. So your shoulder, your left shoulder is somewhere near your left knee. Keep it there. Ready? Inhale. Bring your arms up and down into warrior two. Okay, so your left knee is still bent. Your right leg is straight and strong. Okay, your feet are actually 90 degrees to each other. So my front foot is facing the inside arch of my back foot. Okay, arms out like a surfer. Full expression of the pose. You have a nice deep bend into your left leg. Your gaze is over your left fingers. Okay. On the inhale, flip your palm. And on the exhale, lift your left hand toward the ceiling. Right hand grazes your back leg. Maybe look up to the ceiling. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Good. Come back to warrior two. Now, once again, clasp your hands behind your back. Okay. Hands are clasped behind my back. Push them down. Bring your shoulders back. Here we are in that heart opening space again. This time as you lean forward, once again, put your shoulder near your knee. So left shoulder next to left knee. Okay. Come back up to warrior two. And then feet together. Okay. Your left leg may be a little tired. That's good. It's all that we do. What happens in yoga, right? All right. So let's do the other side. So now my right foot is forward. Left foot is back. My left foot is facing at about 10 o'clock. My right foot is facing about noon. Okay. And I have some space in between. It's more like I'm standing on railroad tracks rather than a balance beam, right? So you have better balance. All right. Once again, inhale, arms up overhead. And then back down. Let's try it again. We're going to come back down into humble hands. So hands clasped behind your back. Push them down on the inhale. Bend that front knee. Humble warrior one. So that your right shoulder now is next to your right knee. Stay there for a minute. Not a literal minute. Just stay there for a couple breaths. Okay. Good. Arms back up. Back up. Open your hips now. To warrior two, you're probably going to have to reposition your back foot a little bit. Okay. Because I want my right foot, the heel of my right foot, I draw a line that's going to intersect with the arch of my left. Right. Arms up like you're surfing. Nice bend into your right knee. Spine is nice and straight. When I got a camera here, I can see where I am. Okay, flip that front palm. Reverse warrior. So the right hand goes up to the ceiling. Left hand back. Good. Come back to warrior two. Clasp those hands behind your back once again. Push those clasped hands down. Open up your heart space. Maybe look up this time. Take a breath in. And then right shoulder to right knee. Coming down into humble warrior two. Good. Come back to warrior two. Feet back together. Good. Now, okay, if you want to fast forward through this part, we're just going to try this whole thing again with breath to movement. So it's a nice flow up and down. Breathe in, breathe out. All right, so here we go. Have my left foot forward, right foot at an angle. Okay, breathe in and down. Breathe arms up. Exhale, clasp hands. Inhale, heart open. Exhale, humble warrior one. Breathe in, warrior two. Inhale, flip palm. Exhale, reverse warrior. Arms back down. Clasp your hands. Breathe in. Exhale, shoulder to knee. And back together. Switch sides. Okay, 45 degrees, 12 o'clock. Here we go. Breathe in and out. Breathe in, bend your legs. Clasp your hands on out. Breathe in, open your heart. Breathe out, shoulder to knee. Breathe in, warrior two. Stay for the exhale. Breathe in, flip your palm. Reverse. Warrior two. And clasp. Inhale, breathe in. Humble, breathe out. Back to warrior two. Feet together. There you go. All right. Now the microphone can be a little weird when it gets so far away. Hopefully you heard all that. All right. So we've set an intention. We've gone through breath work. We talked about forgiveness. We did a mindfulness activity with both hands. We did some desk chair yoga. Now we're up to meditation. So we're almost done. All right. So this final meditation, we're going to do a forgiveness meditation. So I'm going to guide you through maybe a meditation that you can do over and over again as you're working through a situation of forgiveness. All right. All right. So what I invite you to do is find your positioning. Put your feet flat on the ground again. And just find your breath. Okay. Breathe in and out. I invite you to close your eyes if that's not comfortable. That's okay. But just notice your breath. Maybe really notice it for the first time today. And as you're breathing in and out, find those spaces where it might be a little tight, a little uncomfortable. Where is that for you? It could be as simple as like your pinky finger, right? Good. Now that you've explored those places that are maybe a little uncomfortable, find those places in yourself where you feel nothing. Maybe this is your shin bone. Maybe this is the center of your torso or the top of your head. just explore for a minute. Send your awareness to different parts of your body, to spaces where there's like nothing on the map. And then when you're ready, take your awareness and search throughout your body for where you feel good. There's a positive feeling. Maybe it's in your heart space now because we've opened it up and we've soothed it. Excuse me. Now, what I want you to do is where from the places where it feels good, where you have that positive energy, I want you to take a bit of that positive energy and move it toward those places in your body that are stuck, that you found at the beginning. It's like honey. You take that golden color, whatever light or color or whatever you assign to that positive feeling. It's like honey, and you're pulling it, you're stretching it toward those uncomfortable places. That's right. And now those uncomfortable places feel better. Keep pulling, keep spreading the warmth until your whole body feels enveloped by that beautiful color. That means positivity. That means strength. That means wholeheartedness to you. All right. Now that you've strengthened yourself, you feel that warm glow throughout your body. I want you to imagine yourself in an open field. It's a beautiful day. The sun is also warm on your skin. Maybe there's a slight breeze. Maybe there are birds or insects. And in your mind's eye, as you open your eyes, you notice a path in front of you. And so now take that path one foot in front of the other, being mindful about your steps, one foot at a time. Bring your awareness back to your inner being. You still have that warmth, that glow. The sunshine is just making it that much stronger. You're breathing deep in, feeling that fresh air enter your body, strengthened by the sunshine and this favorite safe space that is completely yours. Keep walking. You turn a corner right at the edge of the woods and you see a bench. As you approach the bench, you notice that a person is sitting on the bench. They're hunched over. As they hear you coming, they look up and you recognize them as someone that you need to forgive. But you are safe. This field is your safe space. You sit down next to them, and it's okay. In your mind's eye, you make eye contact with this person that you need to forgive. And as you make eye contact with this person, you say to them, I forgive you. I forgive you not to help you, but to better myself. They're still looking at you. They can't talk back. They can't say anything. I forgive you, and you will not enter my thoughts any longer. I forgive you because forgiveness leads to openness in all aspects of my life. You notice that the darkness that was once in their eyes begins to lighten. And then, while they do not say a word, the silence is finally broken. They simply say to you, I will leave you alone now, and you will not be tormented by me any longer. They get up from the bench, turn their back on you, and slowly walk into the woods. They do not look back. They do not say anything further. Good. Keep breathing. Keep feeling that warmth, the strength that you know is within you. This was a very important meeting today in this field. The next time you breathe in that beautiful air, you feel twice as light as you did before. This burden has been lifted. This person that you needed to forgive is no longer sitting with you in this secret garden, this safe space that you've created, because they have moved on, and so have you. Keep breathing in and out. Breathe in fully through your nose, out through your nose. In through your nose and out. It's time to return to time and space, here where we are together. So slowly wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Maybe open your eyes nice and slowly if they were closed. Lift them if they had been lowered. Focus on the things that are near to you first, and then expand your awareness farther and farther out into your space until you're fully back into your present moment. Thank you for practicing with me today. I hope that this guide through breathwork, intention, mindfulness, yoga, and meditation has given you some insight on how important it is to have a daily personal practice. Feel free to reach out to me at any time. I look forward to contacting you or connecting with you sometime in the future. Namaste.